It is Maginoni, and it is time for another edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Disappointing. So, let's get this party started with the good, and that is Huck. Now, I know I haven't talked much about Huck, but so far, 3 issues in, and Huck is really developing into a fantastic story. I mean, like, I know you normally associate, Millar with Kick-Ass and, like, the Ultimates, or not, was it the Ultimates? Authority, sorry. And, like, ultra-violent comics, but Huck is different. Huck is this guy, he's not quite, he's kind of like a special needs kid or adult with superpowers. He does good deeds, and, he basically gets outed to the world. And as you can expect, while he does do some good, in this issue here, he starts to get taken advantage of by corrupt politicians, and then eventually he meets, like the cover suggests, his brother. And so far this has been just a really solid, entertaining read. It's like, when you don't want to read anymore about, Batman and Spider-Man and all just the nonsense of the same old superhero titles, it's just so refreshing to read this. And the artwork is really good. And, as much as you say, like for example, like Peter Park and, Clark Kent and people like that are, like really noble and good superheroes, here's this guy who basically orders room service for cats who are starving, and before he leaves the hotel. So, this guy's got a heart of gold, and something horrible is probably going to happen on the horizon. But until that does, this is just a really, really solid read. Highly recommend it. Okay, the bad. I understand DC now has this policy where timelines don't matter. Stories take place whenever. And, that's... Okay, if that's the direction they want to go, that's the direction they want to go. I think what happened was they just painted themselves into a corner, and that's the only way they can figure out how to get out of it. But I'm, like, reading this, and I'm just going, this is, like, the biggest pile of shit I've seen since last week, I know it's not that long, but it's kind of like, this is Galactus on the moon, there's an alien on the moon, and because you couldn't figure it out that maybe this could be important, because it's not like Superman's the brightest Boy Scout, they have to put the S there. Or maybe it's the DC readers who can't figure out that this person is somewhat important, and maybe Superman should be involved, so they have to point that out. Because they used an unknown alien creature, whereas Marvel used Galactus, and Galactus was dead. And then it's kind of like, ho, 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 something's going on. So anyways, I'm like reading this and I'm just going deja vu, it's like, and then, so, Superman goes back down to Earth and he gets Batman. Now keep in mind, we're forgetting the fact that, Superman, he's running around with a T-shirt now, and let's also bring up the point. Oh yeah, Batman's really Bruce Gordon, and he's a robot, RoboCop Batman. And then it's like, it's like when you start trying to remember all this stuff and all of this stuff, the way they start layering things on top of each other without a care, it's just kind of like, you can't even start to enjoy the story. And I know this is my personal problem. But then, this is what really... I don't know how to explain this other than showing it to you. Then I saw Lobo. Now, keep in mind, I love Lobo. I love the classic Lobo. The guy on the bike with the hook. Lobo. I hated the GQ Lobo. And DC made it a point to basically say, you like the old style Lobo, you're never getting him back. And what do? Right here. Either that's old style Lobo, which means this, I have no idea where this thing fits in the continuity anymore, or this is GQ Lobo who basically couldn't afford a barber, and now he's starting to look like the main man. And I'm just like, I am so freaking done with this shit. This is like, it's not even entertaining any longer because you're too busy fighting internal struggles with what you're reading with, that you can't just sit back and enjoy it any longer. And maybe new readers who don't understand who some of these people are, never read the Fantastic Four, maybe those people will love this book. Call it Book of the Year. But, man, this was bad. Just plain bad. Even the story was not exciting. Oh, there's an alien on the moon that's dead. That's a giant. Wow. You know what I mean? It's like, wow. I think Galactus on the moon dead was more exciting. Please. Please. It's not even entertaining anymore. All right. The disappointment of the week is Secret Wars number 9. Okay, now I loved Secret Wars. I loved Secret Wars until it got late. Then I was surprised also to hear that, hey, we're adding an issue. I was intrigued. That means they can actually have a sufficient good final battle. Then the lateness occurred. Then we lost pages. And then technically we didn't even really need an issue 9. But they had to extend it anyways because they've already announced it. And this is something that I can say I was not a fan of the ending. They set up really good points. You had a great thing with Namor, Black Panther, and Dr. Doom. Okay, now think about this just for a second. Dr. Doom is god of the planet. Namor destroyed Wakanda. And he's forced to work with the Black Panther to take down God. And that is over in one panel when Namor just gets killed like that. That's all we get. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit before it. But that's foreplay to the battle. And there's that. There's so much more that could have been done with this. Because you have two people who technically hate each other. And, I mean, and you end that hatred, that conflict between the two heroes in just a panel. I mean, Namor's dead. And I'm like, really? It's... I know that they're restricted to a certain degree with page counts, and I understand that. But it's painful to me because I can see undeveloped potential to this, a great side flushing out of a storyline. And they just, that's all we get. And, it's, to me at least, it's really insulting that, they think that that's all I'm worthy of is just that little piece of it. Okay, so anyways, even the fight between those two isn't even a good fight. Then you have to deal with the two Reed Richards and the Molecule Man. And even this, it sets it up really awesome. The betrayal, how evil Reed Richards backstabs Reed and basically turns evolution on him, and he turns into this monkey creature, caveman thing. And I'm like, oh my god, that is cool. What's going to happen? Oh, Molecule Man just makes a pizza reference and chops him up into tiny pieces and resurrects Reed. Wow, that was just truly awe-inspiring and worthy of my time. Again, it's this great setup, and it just fizzles into nothing. Okay? then we get the interaction between Reed and, you know, Sue, and then Sue and Doom, and it's like these wonderful. I mean, you don't. Okay, you people who don't read manga, this is why I'm saying you don't understand my anger. People who do read manga can see this, because the part where Reed and Sue meet each other for the first time, that technically should have been a month worth of storytelling. Then, and by a month I mean at least 4 issues. Then this here would have been. I mean, think about it. You know, you have. You know, Sue Storm looked at Doctor Doom as God, and, you know, in a husbandly way too. On top of that, and then he betrayed her. He betrayed her trust, and it's not even like we don't even get to the meat of that conflict, that betrayal. You know, it's just handled in a page. You know, and then Doom comes, and it's just like, okay, now you have Doom with amazing power versus Reed Richards. And then there's the Molecule Man. You know, what's the Molecule Man going to do? Oh, I know what he does. He takes away Dr. Doom's god powers, so this way Reed and Doom can fight on the equal terms. And even this fight, you know, Dr. Doom's, like Reed says, he stole his family. Again, this could have been an amazing fight. You know, this is why you have to know your history. If you read older Fantastic Four, you know, like the Byrne Fantastic Four, the George Perez Fantastic Four, like the early ones, where you had these battles over and over again with the Fantastic Four and Dr. Doom, you'd understand that we are cheated yet again of what should have been an amazing battle. But we just get a few panels until Reed admits, well, yeah, Reed probably would have done a better job. And then boom, world is fine. World is perfect. And I'm just like at a loss, because I suspected they were going to do stuff like this, but I was hopeful that they would have given it a little more thought, because you had the issue 9, which originally they said was more of an epilogue, where, you know, where there could have been at least a good solid issue of fighting, and then you have a good solid issue of aftermath. Now we have to combine the two together, and we're cheated. We're cheated on every possible method. I mean, every possible point of combat. And then I'm like going, you're freaking Dr. Doom, and the best thing you can do is create Battle World with a section of Ultrons who want to destroy everything, and a section of Marvel zombies who want to eat everything. And that is what you find acceptable? I'm like, Jesus, I mean, you couldn't come up with anything else. How about just leave those 2 options off the plate, because you know those options are toxic. You know, you're being stupid is what it is. Or how about, geez, you know, I don't have enough time to create something, so we'll just create what was originally there, which is what Reed eventually does. He creates the world as he remembers, and then there's a little bit extra where they do a nice finishing touch to it, and they explain what happened to Reed and Sue, and then the Foundation. The Fantastic Foundation, or whatever they're called, and then Future Foundation, and then they also give you explain why Miles is part of the Marvel Universe now, and it's because of the hamburger that he gave Molecule Man. The Molecule Man basically is like, hey, you know, I'm throwing you a bone. Remember you fed me while everybody else didn't, type thing. But anyways. This was one of the biggest disappointments, because it's just so... 1, it's late. 2, it's technically everything before this was this work of art. The art is fantastic. You can tell a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of storytelling went into this to build it to this point, but they just spit out an ending. And it's, it's kind of like, you see the steak dinner, and you get just a taste of it, and then the waiter takes it away. And that's what I feel like, because everything ended far sooner than it should. And, if there's any comic book fan out there who looks at that Black Panther fight with Namor and Doctor Doom and is satisfied with that, man, you got some low standards, let me just tell you. Very low standards. And that's the case, you're going to love this book. But you want something more than that, this book is truly a disappointment. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions, let me know. Like, share. We'll have some more reviews later. Let me know what you thought your good books were, your bads, your disappointments, and we'll have more stuff later. So until next time.